military to strike nuclear targets in Iran. From the White House, CBS's Linda Kenyon.
Should the president decide to follow through, there are indications he does not have full agreement among his closest advisors.
Arguments today before a three-judge appeals court panel over whether the president had the authority to federalize California National Guardsmen and send them to Los Angeles over the objection of the governor. Loyola Law's Lori Levinson.
The question is whether this intermediate court will agree with the government, with President Trump, that he had the right to do it under the statute, or with California, who says that this was a violation of California's sovereignty.
7 people are now confirmed dead in widespread flash flooding in West Virginia over the weekend. John Kovacs lives in the Panhandle.
It's tough when it's local people. It's not somebody somewhere else.
CBS News Brief. I'm Christopher Cruz.
On a Tuesday evening, our News Watch continues at this hour, and we continue to follow the Ranch Hill fire burning this evening in Santa Clara County. So far, it's up to about 100 acres. It is now 40% contained, and joining us now live from the scene, KCBS's Megan Goldsby. Megan.
Yeah, I just got the very latest numbers. That 40% is still true due to better mapping, though. They're saying 92 acres. But here's the part you want to hear. Forward progress has been stopped on this fire. Now, they just told me that a few minutes ago, but had they not, I would be able to tell. Now that I've arrived, there's just not smoke in the air any longer. When I was about 20 miles away, I could see kind of a hazy smoke on the hills. We know that there was a lot of smoke if you're driving by the area earlier, but at this point, can't really see any smoke at all, just a clear blue sky. But boy, did this fire burn very close to homes. That is no joke. You can see a really large home with the hill next to it just completely black. Now, when they go to attack fires like this, of course, they've told us that their priorities are protecting life, obviously, first, but then those homes. So that clearly is where crews started to attack this fire. Right now, I just talked to an official who said it's now continuing to burn up the hill. Well, it is. The forward progress has been stopped, but that's where the fire was moving. They're still working on getting that containment 40% line. We could see a bit of a bulldozer situation on one side, so that was where one of the lines was, but they're working on getting completely all the way around it. They are now in mop-up phase, so that's a good thing. One of the evacuation zones has been lifted. Now, I got this information about 40 seconds before I went on the air, so I'm not going to guess and tell you which one it is. I'm going to tell you as soon as I can, just to make sure we have the correct information. But if you follow along to the alerts on your phone, you can tell if your evacuation zone, if you're one of those people, has been lifted. So the good news here, forward progress of the fire has been stopped. 40% containment, 92 acres. Reporting live from San Jose, Megan Goldsby, KCBS.
And that pretty much covers it all. Thank you, Megan. President Trump has said he wants to dismantle the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA. KCBS's Margie Schaefer reports those working to address climate change are uneasy about what that may mean for vulnerable communities in the next disaster.
When a big flood, fire, or other event happens and overwhelms local agencies, requests are made to the state, which then asks for federal help, and there is some immediate assistance.
Actually, the bulk of FEMA funding goes to the longer-term recovery efforts, rebuilding the schools, the bridges, the infrastructure that's needed.
That is co-director of the Center for Coastal Futures and Adaptive Resilience at Rice University, Professor Jim Elliott, who has personally experienced the impacts of Hurricane Harvey in Houston and Hurricane Katrina in Louisiana.
If you don't come in and start to rebuild quickly, you can have situations where you have dislocation, displacement on massive scales, and that begins to disrupt local economies.
Elliott says the federal government has been helping with disaster relief since the early 1800s.
And the question is just how to make FEMA, or whatever comes next, better at the job that it's been doing for more than 200 years.
Observers are still wondering if talk of cuts to FEMA are a trial balloon or if they're actually going to happen. Margie Schaefer, KCBS.
In San Francisco, police handcuffed and removed 11 union workers disrupting a city hall meeting this afternoon. Organizers said they were protesting against Mayor Daniel Lurie's proposed budget, which they claim unfairly targets workers and critical services. About 100 demonstrators chanted loudly, forcing the Board of Supervisors to go on recess. About 30 minutes into their 2 p.m. regular meeting, protesters continued for nearly 2 hours before police warned them to leave and then started detaining some demonstrators. The board resumed its meeting around 4 p.m. Mayor Lurie has defended his budget as financially responsible. KCBS News Time 7:36. We'll have traffic and weather together on the 8s in just 2 minutes.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the relief hotline at 800-505-9734. 800-505-9734. 800-505-9734.
1-877 Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate your car today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. No title, no problem. Call 877-CARS-FOR-KIDS or go online at carsforkids.org to donate today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Traffic trouble on the San Mateo Bridge. Rebecca Goodion has our latest look at the roads.
Well, there was a stall on the westbound side of the bridge that had traffic stopped briefly, but it looks like in the last 2 minutes or so, they did manage to get that stall moved off the bridge. So if you're headed west into Foster City on the San Mateo Bridge, you may notice a little bit of slow traffic as you make your way by. But right now, it's not looking too bad. Also, the opposite direction, if you're heading into Hayward, that's moving pretty well as well. So let's take a look now at the South Bay, 880 southbound, still a big trouble spot. We have a crash here right after Coleman Avenue, still blocking the left lane, and this is impacting traffic not only on 880 southbound from 101, but also on Coleman Avenue in both directions. Coleman is a pretty major thoroughfare of this part of San Jose, so you probably want to avoid this area if you can. It's very easy to get stuck in traffic here for quite a while when it's being impacted like this. So my suggestion is to take the Alameda instead. The Alameda turns into Santa Clara Street, or it turns into El Camino Real, depending on which direction you're going, but it does run roughly parallel to Coleman, and that can get you where you need to go. Your next update, 7:48 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
Increasing clouds tonight at the coast, mostly clear everywhere else. Overnight lows low to mid-50s. Tomorrow, sunny, hot inland. Some expected highs tomorrow. San Francisco, 72, Oakland 76, Half Moon Bay 64, San Jose 85 degrees, and Livermore and Santa Rosa 90 degrees, Concord 92, and if you're spending time in Sacramento, look for a high of 99 degrees tomorrow. Traffic and weather together on the 8s on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS. Sponsored by Staples.
How many times have we all said, that was easy? Well, the Staples Easy button is back, and it's got us saying it again for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos. Plus, quality products delivered next day to over 98% of the U.S. Staples, that was easy.
The last time you checked your house for termites was probably when you bought your house. How long has that been? This is Joe Starkey. With one call to Pacific Coast Termite, a uniformed inspector will come to your home or business and answer your questions and inspect your property. Now, even if you don't think you have termites, yikes, I recommend you call Pacific Coast Termite for a free home inspection to make sure. Certain restrictions apply. If you do have termites, they can get rid of them with no tenting, no double bagging your food, no pet sitting. You can even be home while they do their work. Try doing that when there's a tent over your house. Mention KCBS and get 10% off termite treatments and a 2-year guarantee on their work. Call 800-PACIFIC. That's 800-PACIFIC, or go to PacificCoastTermite.com.
Pacific Coast Termite kills termites.
The clean, friendly way.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What? All the budget has to be used now? And we can use all the media buy?
Javier's marketing firm just got its dream funding.
Okay, ideas. Bobbleheads. No. T-shirt cannon. I seriously need some help here.
He needs to find marketing managers who are worth every dollar.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Sponsoring a job on Indeed gives it a visibility boost, so you can hire faster. Redeem your $75 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Stardate June 17th. If you stare at one of the giant planets of the outer solar system long enough, with a big enough telescope, you're likely to find some moons. That was certainly the case a couple of years ago for Saturn. A research team scanned the space near Saturn with a large telescope in Hawaii. And earlier this year, the team reported its results. A haul of 128 previously unseen moons. That brought the planet's total to 274. That's 3 times the number of moons for second-place Jupiter, at least for now. The newly found moons are small and faint, no more than a few miles in diameter. They follow odd orbits, including some that orbit backwards in the opposite direction from Saturn's rotation. Some of the moons may be chunks of space rock that were captured by the giant planet's gravity. Others may be the remains of larger moons that were blasted apart by collisions. About a third of the moons may be the remnants of a single impact. They form a group named Mundilfari for a Norse god related to Saturn. It's possible the impact took place within the past 100 million years, adding lots of little moons to Saturn's family. Look for Saturn near our own moon the next couple of mornings. The planet looks like a bright star. It'll stand to the lower left of the moon at dawn tomorrow and closer to the right of the moon on Thursday. Tomorrow, a passel of planets for a nearby star. You can find out how to subscribe to our daily program at stardate.org. For the McDonald Observatory, I'm Billy Henry. Rafael Devers drives in his first run as a Giant. Sports in 60 seconds.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-688-7606. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-688-7606. That's 800-688-7606. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Coming up on KCBS.
I'm Mike DeWald at the Sonoma County Airport, where dozens of community volunteers are helping first responders train for disaster.
KCBS News Time, 7:45. Sports, the biggest trade so far this baseball season had the Giants introducing Rafael Devers to the media at a press conference today through an interpreter. Devers said all the right things.
I'm here to give my 100%. I don't put any buts. They're the men in charge. I am here to play wherever they want me to play.
Devers in the lineup tonight as DH against Cleveland has driven in a run with a double. They're in the top of the fourth. That game tied right now at 2-2. Women's basketball, Valkyries lost at Dallas this evening, 80-71. With more sports, here's Stephen Langford.
Superstar Tyrese Halliburton has been the talk of the postseason with his late-game heroics, and he's led the underdog Pacers to this point in the NBA Finals. But a lingering injury caught up to him. He dealt with a calf issue and really was a non-factor in Game 5 against the Oklahoma City Thunder, as they are now leading the series 3-2. Halliburton only scored 4 points, all of them off of free throws. And with Game 6, a potential for elimination on Thursday, he said there's no chance he's sitting out of that one.
It's the finals, man. I've worked my whole life to be here. If I can, walk, then I want to play.
Though he did have a noticeable limp after his post-game press conference. So how effective will he be in Game 6? NBA TV's Channing Frye.
Even when he was out there hobbling on one leg, he was making that ball pop in that beginning of that fourth quarter, right? So for me, even him at 50% is good. But here's a problem. If he's at 50%, they're going to find you.
At the sports desk, Stephen Langford, KCBS.
The KCBS Sports Desk, sponsored by the Bay Area Chevy Dealers. Visit BayAreaChevroletDealers.com.
At University of Maryland Global Campus, we give our students credit where credit is due. Credit for deciding in the middle of rush hour traffic to go back and get their bachelor's and a promotion. Credit for managing 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a full-time job to pursue an MBA. And credit for serving in the military by day so they can study cybersecurity at night. For over 75 years, we've been helping students receive the credit they deserve. With more than 135 degrees and certificates, students at UMGC can use prior learning or relevant experience to earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's, and graduate students can transfer up to 12 credits toward their master's. At UMGC, you'll find everything, online to hybrid courses, lifetime career services to scholarship opportunities, making your education journey flexible, fast, and affordable. Classes start soon. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
Do you have $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is letting everyone know about great debt relief options now available to help people with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of your credit card debt. Get a free debt relief consultation when you call 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040. 800-586-4040.
There's a crash in Concord. Rebecca Goodion fills us in.
This is a crash on Highway 4 eastbound through Concord just after Willow Pass Road. But the good news is it looks like they finally managed to get this moved over to the right-hand shoulder. So traffic is starting to recover. Very slowly, though, I might add. So still a tough ride on Highway 4 eastbound and also on 242 getting onto Highway 4. This is typically kind of a tough spot anyway, but it is being impacted by this earlier crash. But hopefully it'll start to pick up once you get past Willow Pass Road. It's an easy ride on Highway 4 all the way into Antioch if that's where you're headed. Now let's take a look at the South Bay again. That earlier crash we had on 880 southbound at Coleman has been moved off the freeway, so everything's moving pretty well on 880 now in both directions, but we still see very heavy traffic on Coleman Avenue. So you will want to avoid that portion of Coleman. Take the Alameda instead as your alternate, or if you're headed to the airport, you can just get there by using 101. Your next update, 7:58 on the traffic leader, KCBS.
I'm your first alert meteorologist, Zoe Mintz, and we are going to continue to see warmer weather across our inland East Bay communities, mid to lower 90s by tomorrow afternoon, a couple of degrees above what we felt today. Coastal communities going to be back into the mid-60s with plenty of sunshine. Onshore winds in the afternoon gusting up to 20 to 30 miles an hour, but it's what we expect for this time of year, so nothing too out of the ordinary, just a couple of degrees above average. By Thursday, though, a big cool down will be arriving. Inland East Bay communities only going to be seeing those highs in the upper 70s, while our coastal communities back back in the upper 60s as those winds are going to be whipping out there Thursday afternoon, gusting up to 30 to 40 miles an hour. And it's going to stay just as windy, if not windier, into Friday as a storm system scrapes off to our north. It's not going to bring us any sort of rain, but it is going to bring a little bit more of that fog early in the morning hours, especially along our coastal communities. It's going to be a bit thicker and hang around a bit longer than what we've been seeing the past couple of days. So windier, foggier, and cooler weather is on the way to end off the week. It's not going to stick around into the upcoming weekend, which is great news for any outdoor plans. We'll be back to normal for this time of year, back to those typical June conditions, and that's going to stick around into next week as well. Overall, other than the little pattern change with the heat up on the way into tomorrow and then the cool down Thursday, it's going to be that typical June weather pattern that we're used to seeing this time of year. For KCBS, I'm First Alert Meteorologist Zoe Mintz. Don't forget we have local news for you tonight at 8 to 9 p.m. on Pix Plus.
Right now in San Francisco and Hayward, it's 64 degrees. Oakland, 63. Concord, 83. Santa Rosa, 78 degrees. In San Jose, it's 69. And Half Moon Bay, 59 degrees. Traffic and weather together on the 8th on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS.
Join the free smoothie party at Tropical Smoothie Cafe on Saturday, June 21st for National Smoothie Day. Tropic Rewards members get a free smoothie with bowl or food purchase. Terms and conditions apply.
You deserve to know the news when it's happening. That's why we're broadcasting live from the Bay Area 24/7. Count on the Bay Area's #1 news station. All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS and KCBSradio.com.
KCBS News Time, 7:52. First responders in Sonoma County today practiced how to respond to a major emergency involving a plane crash. KCBS's Mike DeWald reports from Santa Rosa. Dozens of community volunteer victims helped bring the scenario to life.
One by one, agencies arrive on the tarmac here at Charles M. Schultz, Sonoma County Airport. Firefighters, the Sheriff's Office, EMS, and more. But Airport Manager John Stout says it goes well beyond that. How do hospitals respond? Did Redcom dispatch the right equipment? How are media requests being handled?
It's testing each one of those elements of the chain.
Position of the aircraft off the runway in the vicinity of apron.
Stout says the airport is also looking for feedback from the volunteer victims.
It helps with the EMS side, so, care for victims so they can get some feedback on what they experienced. Were they communicating to them? Do they explain what they're doing? Do they explain where they're going?
Each agency has its own responsibility. For example, the Sheriff's Office secures the plane until NTSB or FAA investigators arrive. Lieutenant Tim Duke is with the Sonoma County Sheriff's Office.
We train for something that potentially could occur, and that's our goal here, is to make sure that we execute well, we work together as a unified command, and create the best training scenario possible.
The FAA requires this training every 3 years. In Santa Rosa, Mike DeWald, KCBS.
Senator Alex Padilla spoke out today following his forced removal from a Homeland Security press conference last week. He recounted how he was dragged out of Secretary Kristi Noem's meeting and handcuffed despite having been cleared to enter the building and the room.
So last week, when I heard something so blatantly un-American from the Secretary of Homeland Security, a cabinet official, of course I was compelled, both as a senator and as an American, to speak up.
Senator Padilla said he wasn't told why he was being detained as he was forced to the floor. He says it's time to wake up and continue protesting peacefully across the country. We head now to the KCBS Money Desk and Tom Busby.
Americans love their pickups, and the assembly of light-duty trucks at U.S. auto plants increased in May at the fastest pace and Federal Reserve records dating back nearly 6 decades. That adds up to nearly 10 million trucks on an annualized basis. Separate data shows inventories on dealer lots are down 6 months in a row. As Israel and Iran continue their hostility, speculation grows that President Trump is contemplating joining Israel's attacks on Iran. That's after he met with his national security team today and moved more U.S. military assets to the Middle East. On Wall Street, that and a nearly 1% decline in retail spending in May sent stocks lower and oil higher. The Dow fell nearly 300 points. The Nasdaq down 180, the S&P lost 50, and oil closed just under $75 a barrel today. And ketchup giant Kraft Heinz says it'll remove all artificial dyes from its U.S. products before the end of 2027.
Jell-O, Kraft Mac and Cheese, Kool-Aid, and more. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Business for KCBS.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Dial in. Or possibility number 24, the latest software upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speed. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer, rapid prototype.